matter where you work, there are risks. But what if your job was to run around giving strangers bad news? Best case, you ruin someone's day. Worst case, well, that's just it. Strangers are unpredictable, and you never know who you're talking to. Like the young man in tonight's true scary story.
At the time, I was 22, and I had just lost my job. In order to pay my bills, I picked up a job working for a friend of mine who needed a process server to serve papers for foreclosures. While I had never done it before, the money was fairly good, and it was something to hold me over until I could find something a bit more permanent. Most of the time, the hardest part of the job was finding the people who I needed to serve the papers when they were home. While I had heard that the job could be quite dangerous, other than an old man threatening that he was going to beat me up, and the occasional dog, I was never really in any dangerous or ominous situations. Typically, it would just be that people would ignore the door, or even deny being who I was looking for. That was the worst I ever had to deal with. I would often only serve papers during the day, because both my girlfriend and my mother would get quite concerned when I would go out at night. There was this one house, though, that after several attempts during the day, I decided I was going to try at night this time. This house was in a wooded area, and had a long dirt driveway up a hill. During the day, it didn't seem really scary at all. It seemed like a nice house, actually. But at night, it was transformed into pitch black and silence, which only made it that much more creepy. As I pulled up to the house, I saw a car parked up at the top of the driveway, which was about 20 feet from the house itself. I could see a few lights on inside. I thought to myself, awesome, someone is finally here. I'll do this real quick and easy and be right on my way. I got out of the car and walked up onto the porch. There were no lights on lighting up the porch, but the lights on inside, so it was completely black. I knocked on the door and rang the bell, and waited for a while, but no one would come to the door. I rang the bell again. Suddenly, a light in the kitchen at the end of the hall that led to the front door went off. Still, no one came. I knocked a little harder, but still no one came to the door. Just about ready to give up, I started to walk back to my car, when suddenly, the porch light turned on. I turned around and went back to the porch, but as soon as I put my foot on the first step, the light went out again. I looked around, thinking someone must be watching me and playing a prank or something, but I couldn't see anyone. I knocked again, but again, no one came to the door. I tried looking through the windows. The house seemed to look like a hoarder lived there, but there was no sign of it actually being lived in. Again, I knocked, rang, and waited, but still, nobody came. I decided I was just about done with this scary situation, and I was just going to leave. I was reaching for my door handle, when again the light on the porch turned on. This time, I looked into the window in the house. I could see half of a person standing near the window and watching me. I walked quickly up to the door, hoping to get there before they could leave and pretend they weren't there. This time, though, the light stayed on as I stepped onto the porch. I walked up to the door, rang the bell, but the person I had seen was now nowhere to be found. Suddenly, to my right, a man appeared from beyond the corner of the house. He scared the crap out of me. I started walking backwards, only to suddenly hear footsteps coming from behind me. A girl walked around from the other corner. "Hi, can I help you?" I told him I had papers to serve the owner. He told me that would be his parents. I asked if he lived there. He was giving me a weird vibe, but he said yes, so I gave him the papers and quickly walked back to my car. When I looked back at the house, both of them were now standing on the porch, staring silently at me. While this was creepy and scared the crap out of me, it wasn't until the next day, when I handed in my affidavit for it, that I found out the owner had died long ago, and nobody was supposed to be living there. They still needed 3 attempts before they could file the paperwork, which is why they had sent me. I didn't serve at night anymore after that, nor did I ever tell my mother or girlfriend.
Oh man, if they didn't tell me I was trying to serve papers to a dead person and that happened, I'd be a little angry. But you know what doesn't make me angry? When people come to my channel, Super Horror Show, and subscribe for some of the best animated horror content on YouTube. So visit me, Papa Bones, and if you like what you see, subscribe. And if you don't like what you see, it's free, who cares, just do it anyways! On the way to that creepy house, the young man stopped and bought some mint chocolate chip ice cream from his favorite place. Sadly, with the lights turning on and off, and the back and forth, it was melted by the time he was ready to leave. I guess you could say it wasn't meant to be!